मैं इमरान अहमद खान न्याजी सबके दिल से हल्फ उठाता हूँ.
When Imran Khan came initially into politics, he thought his personal popularity would be sufficient for him. It didn't happen.
The retired military generals are openly saying that Imran Khan is a better choice.
Imran Khan may have bitten a bit too much, more than what he can chew.
Implosion. This and more. Streaming on world's first news OTT. News9 Plus. Download.
Brij Bhushan Sharan Singh, a name that is making headlines once again, but this time around for all the wrong reasons. No defense there as of now. The Delhi police charge sheet is crystal clear, and sexual misconduct abroad is the big premise against this man who was once the World Wrestling Federation of India's chief. Charge sheet lists multiple cases of sexual harassment abroad, specific incident, inappropriate sexual contact in Mongolia. Offense under section 354 IPC has been declared. Continuous pattern of harassment listed. And Brij Bhushan Sharan Singh denies the allegations but claims he is being framed. What an irony if it has to come to such a pass where the decision by the honorable courts, by the police findings, would anything be to go by. As of now, the charge sheet filed by Delhi police, 1082 pages charge sheet being filed, does not give much elbow room to Brij Bhushan Sharan Singh, obviously the man in the eye of the storm, after several wrestlers, athletes pressed charges and accused him of the misconduct. Delhi court on Tuesday had rather granted 2-day interim bail to Brij Bhushan Sharan Singh. He has been accused by 6 women wrestlers of sexual harassment, assault and stalking. And co-accused Vinod Tomar, former Assistant Secretary of WFI, which is Wrestling Federation of India, was also granted interim bail. But Thursday would be the time when it would be revisited, the case would be revisited. These 2 individuals who have not been arrested as of now, Delhi police says that they have not arrested them because they have been cooperating with the probe. And Brij Bhushan Sharan Singh, who is 66 years old, was taken to several places, several locations within India, within the country, where he made presence and he had to corroborate, and the reenactment of the whole scenario was done. He was cross-questioned. Police had gone to his residence also in Uttar Pradesh, and there also his staff members and other help were probed. Let's listen into some reactions which have come in.
अभी ये जो बेल है ये अंतरिम बेल है. बेसिकली इनको अरेस्ट नहीं किया गया था. इस ग्राउंड पर उन्होंने मांगा, उन्होंने कहा कि अंतरिम बेल है और पूरी सुनवाई परसों होगी. कल परसों तक के लिए उन्होंने अंतरिम बेल दी. इस होने के बाद उन्होंने जमानत के बेल एप्लीकेशन उन्होंने मूव करी. बेल एप्लीकेशन की कॉपी हमें सप्लाई करी गई है और जैसा हमने बेल की सुनवाई के लिए परसों की तारीख तय करी है और तब तक के लिए उनको इंटरिम बेल दी गई. आप लोगों ने अपोज किया था? यस, वी हैव अपोज्ड. आज तो उन्होंने बेल लगाई है क्योंकि उन्होंने कहा कि हम परसों सुनेंगे, इस वजह से उन्होंने अंतरिम जी 25,000 की मुंचल कर.
All right, we are joined by Ashish Pandey, Advocate, Supreme Court of India. Ashish, thank you so much for speaking to us. Obviously, a man of the moment there, Brij Bhushan Sharan Singh. Tomorrow would be the day when his bail plea would be heard. Interim bail, that procedural. Where do you see this case going, and how do you see this case in the court of law?
You see, this case, I mean, terming this case as a very peculiar one because, had not there been any political angle involved, had the case been only a purely a legal case, any other person there would have made similar charges, the course of action would have been entirely different. Now, what has happened from the very beginning, somehow this case took political turn, and the legal recourse which was available to the victims, they somehow chose not to opt for that. And because of that particular direction, things got messed up. Now you see, now the charge sheet has been filed. The usual process is the accused is arrested before the charge sheet is filed because custodial interrogation is required for the purpose of collecting evidence against that person.
Right.
Now, after the charge sheet is filed, whatever evidence was required to be collected is already part of charge sheet. So, as far as the custodial interrogation of that accused person is concerned, that is no longer required. Even if you go by the charge sheet, you will find that more than 100 witnesses were examined. Approximately 15 on something corroborated what was the allegation, and rest of them somehow made statements which are not corroborative to the accusation which have been made by the victims. Now, in this situation, you see what is transpiring here is police has said in the charge sheet that because there are certain judgments from the Supreme Court which says that if the quantum of punishment which can be given for the charges labeled is less than 7 years or 7 years, the requirement of arrest is not that much required under law. So what police has said that because the charges for which allegation is made is within that limit and accused has been corroborating, has been complying with the notices which were issued by the police officers under section 41A of the CRPC, they chose not to arrest. But now because in the charge sheet they have police has chosen to file the charge sheet in which they are supporting the allegations which were made by the victims. So there is no other option. These offenses are non-bailable offenses. So accused person has no other option but to apply for bail. But in all probability, see, I should not make any future-looking statement, but there is a very good possibility that he may be discharged on bail.
Right. Ashish, stay with us. We are also joined by L.N. Rao, former DCP, Delhi. Welcome to the show, Mr. Rao. Always a pleasure to talk to you. Well, first things first, in your learned opinion, देर आए दुरुस्त आए वाली स्थिति तो नहीं हो रही है. FIR तो हुई, चार्जशीट भी आई, अब इंटरिम बेल मिल गई है. आशीष ने हमें बताया, he told us, the grounds on how this interim bail and how the proceedings will happen tomorrow. But in your opinion, sir, the role of police and the role of judiciary, किस पर नजर रखी जाए?
Yes. Good afternoon to you and your viewers. And in addition to police investigation experience, and I'm also working as a legal professional for the last 10 years. In this case, I'm watching this matter, and I'm on several TVs on this case when it was during investigation. I think now there are durust aaye wali baat, it's not necessary, because that investigation has been taken and undergone with a very legal procedure and all procedure of the procedure laid down by our CRPC and IPC, etc. Now that as the earlier my friend has stated that because the charges are non-bailable, then he has to apply for the bail, and accordingly the interim bail has been granted to him. And during investigation also, he joined investigation several times, and there are some contradiction in the statements of the witnesses. There are so many witnesses, and only about 15, 16 have corroborated the allegations. And since the allegations are of very old time, that is very period which is very long in years, so that that is not a case of POCSO or any other allegations like molestations also, which happened yesterday or day before yesterday. So in such type of cases, during investigation, it's the prerogative of the investigating officer whether to arrest the person or not to arrest the person, because this power of investigating officer cannot be taken away by any court or by any other person. That's why in this case the charge sheet has been filed without any arrest, without arrest of these accused persons. So
Right.
now up to the court, honorable court, whether to see whether that permanent bail is granted to him or not. In all probabilities, this is a fit case for granting permanent bail, because in
Okay.
other previous cases there are traditions, there are precedents that when the police does not arrest a person and file a charge sheet, there are several judgments of Honorable Supreme Court and High Courts that
Right.
in that case bail should be granted to the person when the trial starts in that case.
Right. Mr. Rao, stay with us. Ashish, let's rewind. Let's go back in yesterday's date. In your opinion, what was the basis for the court to grant them interim bail to Brij Bhushan and the other co-accused?
This is usual practice in the courts when
Okay.
the court is willing to entertain any matter on merit and not merit of the case, but as far as the merits of the bail are concerned in this particular matter, then usually interim protection is granted, because otherwise the whole case will become infructuous.
Right. So, Ashish, as Mr. Rao is saying that from his point of view, this case merits a proper bail to the accused and co-accused. Let's not, हम लोग ये तो नहीं करेंगे कि we would try and give the verdict before the honorable court decides that. But how do you see this case going? What are the benefits of doubt that Brij Bhushan Sharan Singh could have, or do you believe the case from the wrestler's point of view is pretty strong?
You see, from the very beginning, the case proceeded on two different directions. One was that certain victims were of certain age, and then there was a particular victim who was underage at that point in time. So what happened in that particular case, where the victim was underage, the POCSO was invited. I mean, the allegation sections of POCSO was invited. So the case was, legally speaking, was on a higher footing as far as the criminality is concerned. That was the main concern before this particular accused person.
Right.
And once the allegation under POCSO are gone, that becomes a very, legally speaking, very weak case, because as rightly pointed out by my learned friend, that the allegations pertain to years which are like 4 or 5 years back. So now how to prove them, how to corroborate what is being stated is very difficult, because, the one particular thing is required to be kept in mind, that our legal system, especially the criminal justice system, is based on the principle that the allegations must be proved beyond any reasonable doubt. Any reasonable doubt is sufficient to get the accused acquitted. Now, in this particular case, if there is any smallest of contradiction as far as the contents of charge sheet are concerned, it will not only help this accused, but in longer run we will find that this case will become a mockery of justice, because when the allegations are that old, it becomes very difficult to prove. And as I said, slightest of contradiction is sufficient under our criminal justice system to get the accused acquitted.
Right. Mr. Rao, Pratham Drishya, from first cursory sight, what are the factors, what are the pointers which go in favor of Brij Bhushan Sharan Singh as of now?
You can see that during trial and at the stage of start of trial, that prima facie that is considered by the court whether the allegations are sufficient to proceed in the trial or not. In this case, I think that the contradiction of accused persons, the witnesses, and the time gap of the actual allegations, actual incident has been taken place, and these are the things which will be, I think, it will be in benefit of Mr. Brij Bhushan Singh. And I don't think that is a case of discharge, because prima facie there seems to be a case made out against him, and then trial will go on. And as Mr. Misal has said, that in our judicial system there is a saying that that person, if his the allegations are not proved beyond guilty, because the prosecution has to prove their allegations against him, and then after that the defense counsel will come out. then the allegations should be proved beyond guilty. And if there is any slightest doubt, there is our system is judicial system is like that the benefit of that doubt is to be given to the accused always in all cases, on all criminal cases. And in this case also I must point out about the bail. The requirement of bail is to face trial in a particular case. And in this case, I don't think that there are any chances that he will not face trial in this case. And whatever amount of bail and conditions can be imposed against to Mr. Brij Bhushan Sharan so that he can continuously face trial, and up to the end he will be obeying all the orders of the Honorable Court which are passed during trial.
Right. Valid point. Ashish, let me ask you, a question that generally emanates in everyone's mind. Brij Bhushan Sharan Singh and the co-accused, or for that matter anyone, those who are accused in a particular charge and are applying for bail, do you think the court also keeps in mind the flight risk, the tendency or the chances of maybe tampering with the evidence or impacting the witnesses? Does that factor also weigh in?
Oh, yes, absolutely. You're absolutely right. Like these are the factors which are to be kept in mind when granting bail. There are judicial directions from the higher courts, Supreme Court and the high courts, that if there is a slightest possibility that the accused person, if enlarged on bail, maybe, it is not like as if he should actually do it, but if there is a likelihood that he may be in the position to tamper with the witnesses, influence the witnesses, the court finds that in such cases, accused should be behind the bar. But as I said, now this is a very politically hyped case. So up to what extent there will be possibility of influencing the witnesses, all these factors will be argued before the court when the court will hear the matter, and then the matter will be decided upon.
Right. Mr. Rao, I think 2013 it was when Delhi had witnessed large-scale protests on the Nirbhaya case. I'm sure, at that time we all had seen how people came out on the streets. 10 years down the line, when we have better facilities of, scrutiny, better facilities of keeping areas and places under surveillance of CCTV, obviously. In this day and age, such a incident happens or has been reported, the way the things transpired, many would say that this situation could have handled better. In your opinion, from the experience that you bring, was this the right way for the government and for Brij Bhushan Singh also to dig in their heels and not heed to the wrestlers' protests? Only Supreme Court intervened, then FIR was filed. Do you believe that this could have been handled better, or this was the best way?
Yes, you are right at this point of time, because after 2013, that Nirbhaya's case, there was some commission was put for the inquiry of that Verma Commission. And after recommendations of that Verma Commission, there were some amendments in our criminal procedure code, and in cases of this type of cases, and that like molestation, POXO and rape and other things, then immediate FIR was to be registered on the basis of the complaint received by any person.
Right.
That is a settled law. If there is any complaint, and that case should have been registered immediately, and the investigation should be started. I think Delhi police lacked in that at that stage, that they should have registered this case and investigated, and there should not have been any interference by the Honorable Supreme Court. And that is, I think that the Delhi police is on back footing on this point. But after that, the investigation was conducted on the basis of the available evidence, scientific evidence also, that as you rightly said, that CCTV footage at that time, maybe whether they were or not there, that is part of Chargesheet. And after that, that investigation was fairly done by the Delhi police. I don't think that there was any pressure, and if there was any pressure, I can vouch for the Delhi police, that Delhi police never bow down under any pressure, maybe political or any other pressure whatsoever may be. But in this case, again, that one more point I want to emphasize on that, on the point of bail, that previous conduct of the accused is also influential in the bail, deciding the bail matter, along with the possibility of threatening or all those things. But threatening must be real one. That if there is any simple allegation of threatening, that it will not work out. That threatening allegation should be supported with a solid evidence that he or she has threatened the victim or the witnesses of this case. That is also very important while deciding the case. If there are allegations of threatening, or there are possibilities that he can or she can threaten any witness or to the prosecutrix, then and also the conduct and any previous record of criminal cases like this. If there is also there, that in this case also that will be referred by the learned prosecutor that he has got so many cases against him. Whether he has been convicted or not, that is separate thing. But these things also are to be considered while granting bail by the learned courts in
itself.
India.
Right, Mr. Rao, I would agree with you, but on one point, the threat and the gravity of the threat. Well, if someone tells me मैं तुम्हारा career खत्म कर दूंगा and someone tells me that मैं तुम्हें जान से मार दूंगा, for me both are equal.
Yes,
If career, so I understand what you are saying. I understand what you're saying, that what kind of threat is this? Is it a threat to life or threat to career? For these wrestlers or for any sports person, I would say, the patch that they have, the purple patch that they have, or they tend to stay in the game for a longer period of time, I think they treasure it more than their life. But nonetheless, points taken. Ashish and Mr. Rao, stay with us for just 30 seconds. We'll play this soundbite of the learned lawyer of Brij Bhushan Sharan Singh and the co-accused. Let's listen to what they had to say yesterday.
अभी ये जो बेल है ये अंतरिम बेल है. बेसिकली इनको अरेस्ट नहीं किया गया था, इस ग्राउंड पर उन्होंने मांगा, उन्होंने कहा कि अंतरिम बेल है और पूरी सुनवाई परसों होगी. कल परसों तक के लिए उन्होंने अंतरिम बेल दी. होने के बाद उन्होंने जमानत के बेल एप्लीकेशन उन्होंने मूव करी. बेल एप्लीकेशन की कॉपी हमें सप्लाई करी गई है और जैसा हमने बेल की सुनवाई के लिए परसों की तारीख तय करी है और तब तक के लिए उनको इंटरिम बेल दी गई. आप लोगों ने अपोज किया था? यस, वी हैव अपोज्ड. आज तो उन्होंने बेल लगाई है क्योंकि उन्होंने कहा कि हम परसों सुनेंगे, इस वजह से उन्होंने अंतरिम जी 25,000 की मुंचल.
Right. So, Ashish, we heard the lawyer and what he the procedures that he mentioned, and now shifting focus to the charge sheet. Two witnesses confirmed seeing the alleged act in Mongolia, offence under IPC section 354 for sexual assault. Singh accused of harassment on 7 separate occasions, 5 instances of physical sexual assault and 1 sexual advance mentions. From the IPC point of view, do they amount to grave scenarios or they are bailable offences?
No, these are not bailable offences. These are non-bailable offences. And whenever there is allegation from a woman that such instances have happened with her, these are grave offences for all intents and purposes. But here the situation is, because these are old allegations, when one witness says that she or he has seen such particular incident took place before her or him. Now, this may not be legally speaking sufficient to convict that person on the basis of this particular statement.
Okay.
There must be other witnesses. I mean, let's for example, there are 2 people in this particular room, and one says that that person has seen that particular offense being committed, and other says, I cannot recall this particular incident ever took place. Right. Now, for legal point of view, you see there is a doubt which has been created under the law. Now, and law says if there is a slightest doubt, the person cannot be convicted. These are, parameters on which our legal system works. So that's why I'm saying it's a weak case from the very beginning. And you see, one of the reasons why this case has reached this stage is because when police is not listening to you, suppose there is a cognizable offense which has happened, and I go to a police station and ask the concerned police officer to get the FIR registered, and if he refuses for whatever reasons, there are other recourses which are available under CRPC, and that could have been used in a very timely manner. That might have made this case a legally solid case for up to a certain extent. But because this political angle somehow, I would like to say now this case has become a khichdi case. We
Khichdi
don't know
case.
how this will. Yes.
Right. Rao Saab, Ashish has been very candid and obviously putting, because why I'm saying candid, Ashish and Rao Saab, because the impression that, some people would say that media creates that impression. But when we also walk in the street, the general perception here is that because of some sort of political upper hand, there is some sort of delay in the case. But again, judiciary, full faith in them, and now the case is in the courts. Talking about the gravity of the charges and the charge sheet, details, Rao Saab, allegations of 7 instances of harassment by Singh, including 5 physical sexual assault and 1 sexual advance. All these things I just read out. Do you believe that for the accused, it also becomes difficult to prove that the charges are not true, because for him also, not only for the police but for him also, a lot of time has passed?
Definitely, this is the most important aspect of this case, that if sexual allegations, sexual harassment allegations or molestations of that time are being quoted right now, then there must be some plausible explanation of delay in reporting this matter, because this is also very important why the matter was not reported at the same time, at the same place when these offences has been committed. So this will also be counted or it will be considered during trial, and this will be a benefit for the accused in this case. Now, the main our process of our judicial system in criminal trial is that first the prosecution has to prove their case. Like in this case, that public prosecutor was speaking, not the lawyer of this Brij Bhushan was speaking. Mr. Atul Srivastava is a public prosecutor. He was the person from the police. He was speaking that in that case about the bail he was talking about. Then in that case, if that case is being tried in the court, then the prosecutor has to establish their case on its own leg. That the case should be proved beyond any reasonable doubt. And after that, when the witnesses are examined in chief, then the cross-examination is a right of the accused, that he can cross-examine on the issues which have been narrated before the honorable court during trial of any such type of cases. So it will be, I think, in the benefit of the delay in reporting the matter definitely will be in favor of the accused. And about the gravity also, I must tell you that the gravity offence, that passing advance marks is a bailable offence. And molestation, and that is if it is covered under section 354, this is non-bailable offence. And that's why, because the non-bailable offence is there, that's why the bail, regular bail has been applied for by the accused. So now it is to be decided by the honorable court, and after the bail matter is decided, then the court will proceed as per law for the further trial of this case. And then after that, argument of charge and the prosecution evidence, that will be followed by after argument of charge, if it is the charges are framed against him.
Ashish, I'm sure that unfortunately enough, though, this is not the first instance or a first type of a case where a person has been accused of sexual misconduct. There have been cases before also, and not so much into the media glare, not involving high profile people, at least in the recent past. In your opinion, how do courts view it? Because there is a feeling that this particular case is being treated differently than other cases of sexual misconduct. Is that so? Or maybe in a way, for the courts to take every step into consideration is a must, and hence the delay?
You're right. I mean, you see what happens, that we may have some sort of perception that courts can do whatever they want, but as far as trial courts are concerned, they are bound by law. Like they have superior courts above them. Every step is being watched by superior courts. Like if they do anything which is not in accordance with law, I mean, the first thing lawyers for concerned persons before the court, they will approach higher court, or there may be certain remarks which may not be very good for the lower court. So lower courts are very hesitant as far as the social justice thing is concerned. They strictly adhere to what letters of law are saying. So whatever is being presented, see, court is a neutral body. They are not pro prosecution or pro victim. It is for the prosecution to build a case before the court so that they can pass a judgment, and equal rights are available to the accused persons to defend themselves. That's how things play out in court. So if the prosecution is not fulfilling its part, then court's hands are bound. They cannot do anything beyond a certain point.
Right. And when it comes to, Mr. Rao, handling situations like these or tackling, these high-profile cases, what recourse and what plan of action does Delhi police follow or police generally follow so that they are also not being accused of, shielding a particular person who is very close to the government or who is a minister for that matter? So what kind of approach is there as far as Delhi police is concerned?
This is very, very relevant and very good question about in this case, because Delhi police has made it a point that in such type of cases, which is a very high profile case and which involves a main accused person as a minister, rather is a parliamentarian, then the police has to do everything on merit. So just to also not only doing things on merit, that is to look like that the police is investigating the case on merit without any pressure and from any corner. This is the main principle by the investigating officer, that in such type of cases there should not be any allegations against them that they are partial, impartial, and they are doing something which is not required or which is not legally required by the investigating officer to be done. They have to go by the rule of law, rule book, and what is the procedure of the investigation, what are the latest judgments, what are the latest rulings in our judicial system. They have to abide by all these things so that there should not be any allegations against them. And I think in this case also the police tried to do very fair in the investigation. No doubt there are allegations. There were allegations that why the police did not arrest the Brij Bhushan Singh, or why the police delayed in registration of FIR. That is there definitely. The delay in registration of FIR, definitely one of the point is that I am emphasizing time and again that should not have been done. But after that, the investigation was done by the officers of a very high quality, and then the special investigation team of crime branch investigated this case, and the investigators were of very experienced, and they did their job meticulously, collecting the all type of evidence, that you can say the oral evidence, scientific evidence, documentary evidence. So many other evidences are being placed before the court during the charge filing in the charge sheet filed by the court by the police in the court. So now I think that analysis of this whole charge sheet will definitely come out that whether there is any sufficient ground to proceed against the accused, and if there is sufficient ground to proceed in the trial in the accused, and the trial will show that whether the allegations are correct or not. Definitely, I think that's a wait and watch situation for all of us.
Right, Mr. Rao. I'll be taking one final question from both of you. But yes, as far as Delhi police is concerned, I mean, not many would say that this police force is an inefficient one. Delhi police has set many high standards, I would say. But Ashish, let me ask you a completely opposite question here. The popular belief here is, because Delhi police falls under MHA, because Brij Bhushan Singh is a minister and an MP, do you think that Brij Bhushan Sharan Singh is being shielded?
I'm sorry, your voice was broken.
Yeah.
I couldn't
I
hear
was
the last part.
asking, the popular perception here is, and I just wanted your opinion on it, legally or personal. Do you think Brij Bhushan Sharan Singh is being shielded?
You see, first let me tell you, Delhi Police is a very competent, efficient agency. Like we have so many friends in Delhi Police, and we know how they work day and night.
By all means, I would agree.
And but as far as this particular case is concerned, you see, personally, I feel that there was initially some hesitation to register the FIR. Post registration of FIR, even they could have taken the stand. Then we have registered the FIR, and during investigation, we could not found anything which was incriminating. But what has happened? Now we are seeing that Delhi police has filed the charge sheet where charges are pressed against this person. So the initial stand
And
that
big ones.
nothing was there. Yeah, nothing was there against this accused person. So there is a contradiction, and I don't know how this contradiction can be reconciled. I mean, viewers are free to choose whatever way they want to perceive things. Yes.
Right, Ashish. I was expecting, a balanced view from you, and yes, I mean, that's why trusted legal luminary Ashish Pandey there. Rao Saab, one obvious question would have been to reply to Ashish what he said, that what Delhi police could say. But my question would be to you, would be the final question, and after that, we are all free to go. Only a few days ago, sir, there was an incident. A reporter from a particular television station, media network, was approaching Brij Bhushan Sharan Singh, and he was heading to his car. Maybe he had a rough day, maybe he had a long day. He shut the car door on the reporter's microphone. Now, obviously, as the social media would have it, it was not seen in the correct light. What was the exact moment, heat of the moment, or what was there? But if that situation was avoidable at all, it could have been. In your opinion, sir, both what you bring to the table from the police department and your legal opinion, what message or what suggestions would you give to Brij Bhushan Sharan Singh as of now, who is out on bail or on interim bail, to exercise at this point of time?
Definitely, the Brij Bhushan Singh is not a normal person. He is a parliamentarian. He is a minister of the ruling government. His behavior should be like that. That should not annoy anyone, and particularly not to the media person. That he should have a balanced state of mind at that very point. Maybe he may be frustrated, maybe because of something. I don't know what was the situation at that time. But as a normal person, also as a parliamentarian, and because the people watch his activities, people not
valid
only his
point,
activities,
sir, valid point.
We Indian watch these parliamentarians, what they are saying, what they are doing. That's why the people should feel that he is also a nice person, but by banging this door of that mic of the media person, that I don't like it at all, and that should have been avoided by him, and he should restrain all these things in future as well. As you asked me that what type of
message
you want to give to. Yes.
Now, I'm sure he would be more than happy to receive it from you, sir, and thanks to you, thanks to Ashish also. Both the gentlemen, obviously, the best of the minds, and obviously this particular case which pertains as of now to such seriousness that even the courts obviously would be doing their due diligence, and as far as the wrestlers are concerned, as far as the aggrieved party is concerned, obviously they are also looking up and demanding for justice.
इंजीनियरिंग कर रहे हैं, क्योंकि सभी लोग कर रहे हैं।